Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've seen some rather interesting updates go out in Call of Duty over the course of the past couple of weeks, alongside a new thing happening in game for a lot of players between multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone that may be indicating at long last, after years of complaining about one specific topic, we could finally be seeing some changes to these servers for Call of Duty. One of the biggest complaints every single year is the connection quality and the server stability for Call of Duty titles. Whether you are playing Warzone with all the new integrations year over year, or the multiplayer titles, or even the third modes, whether it be DMZ in the past or zombies right now, right? Servers in COD have been a hot topic for a long time because, quite frankly, when you think of Call of Duty, you're probably thinking, oh, that's one of the largest gaming franchises on the planet. I mean, Microsoft just spent billions of dollars to acquire Activision Blizzard King, right? You think probably one of the biggest FPS titles on the planet and one of the biggest games in the world probably has pretty good servers and pretty good connection, right? Well, if you played some matches of Call of Duty and, you started doing well, and then SBMM kicks in and you're playing with different players from across maybe a couple of regions, like maybe you're on West Coast, they're on East Coast, whatever the case is, or even just at random, you'd realize, yeah, the servers are not all that great. They can handle players on them. Like, COD always has a pretty large player base, hundreds of thousands of people playing every day, millions at launch, and like, it's not like the servers are constantly going down. It's been known to happen here and there, but it's not like a super frequent thing. The main issue though is the in-game experience in relation to the servers. Whether it is stuttering, where your game is constantly just like freezing and then you're picking back up, and there's packet burst and there's packet loss, so you start lagging, or you're running in place, or you're freezing, or you're phasing through the space-time continuum at random, and then you just pop up and you're like, oh, I'm now 3 buildings down from where I was when this started happening. I wonder how I got here, right? There's a lot of issues with that. There's a lot of issues with high ping in relation to, doing well with SBMM kicking in. It then takes longer to find a match that it deems quote unquote acceptable for your skill bracket. So your connection quality suffers with that. There are random disconnects because the server times out. Like, this is a topic that we have talked about time and time again over the course of the years. And like, even just this year alone, it's been a hot topic in a lot of my complaint videos and opinion-based videos, right? Servers in COD have been needed to be upgraded for some time with the explosion of Warzone and everything, and really since COD was put back on the map post Black Ops 4, yeah, the servers never really significantly improved, it seems. But there is potentially some light at the end of the tunnel here, because as I mentioned, Call of Duty's been doing some interesting things as of late. You may recall back to the Black Ops 6 beta not all that long ago. We were seeing random hotfix updates and random sort of mini updates drop, throughout both weekends of the beta. And something that was consistently included in these little patch note updates were server improvements. And this is something that like we see mentioned here and there in some patch notes for like Warzone or MW3, or dating back to other CODs as well, where they'll say at the top, global update in the patch notes, improved stability and crashing, and they're not really super specific with that stuff. It's very ambiguous and no detail is really given, and oftentimes no noticeable change is actually experienced, right? But in the Black Ops 6 sort of mini update patch notes, they said multiple times, hey, in multiplayer, we've improved server-side stability during matches, seemingly addressing some packet loss and some packet burst issues. And another time they said improved server-side stability during matches as a global stability update. So it was something that was continually being referenced in just a couple of weekends playtime on the BO6 beta. Now that said, even after those updates went out, I was still not having the best server experience. I was still experiencing a lot of packet burst, occasional packet loss. We'd have really high ping, really laggy lobbies here and there, but it is something they were addressing, and the case might be different for different players. Maybe people in certain regions were having a lot of server updates go out, and their connection quality and their server quality improved noticeably over the course of the beta, right? It's sort of a somewhat dependent thing there, but nonetheless, we saw quite a few server-based updates go out, something that we really haven't seen much of during the past year of Warzone and MW3 updates at all. One update, though, that we have seen go out in MW3 and Warzone as of late is a new player poll that ends up popping up after you play a match. So this can happen when you finish a match of multiplayer and you're back on the main menu getting ready to queue into another match. This could happen after you get booted out of an end of a match Warzone game and you're back on the main menu for that, or when you exfil in zombies, right? And it'll actually pop up on your screen and say, how would you rate the connection quality of your last match? You've been selected to answer a game quality survey question. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and will be used to create a better gaming experience for all of Modern Warfare 3 players. And within this poll for rating the connection quality, you can decline to vote. You can say the connection quality was poor. You can say the connection quality was fair, average, good, or excellent. Now, I'm not sure if anyone has actually realistically selected excellent on there, I'm just saying, but nonetheless, you could go through and actually give your opinion on the connection of your last match. And I've had this pop up for me a couple of times conveniently after matches where I experienced a decently noticeable amount of packet loss or packet bursts and I was stuttering or hitching a lot. So I went through and naturally I said it was poor, and it's like, hey, thanks for your feedback. But why is this important? Sure, this could just be a, hey, random survey. We're gonna, test out what you think about the connection quality and see what players say. But they've done a lot of these style surveys in the past. They've gone on and asked about things like TTK in the past. Simply, did you have fun in the past? And something that a lot of these in-game surveys do is actually reflect later on much further down the road. Like in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, we got surveys about the TTK. And naturally, the TTK has been adjusted in COD over the course of time. Same deal with, are you having fun? This might sound weird, but a lot of players might select no on that, and that's why we see a lot of more like gimmicky style modes releasing, especially this year in MW3. There's a lot more fun-based modes and less like realistic competitive-based modes, right? So these surveys in game, yeah, it might not seem like if you simply select one time, hey, I'm one single Call of Duty player, I said the connection quality was fair or poor that match, nothing's gonna change. History says that these in-game surveys actually do have a decent bit of impact on the future. We've seen things like Call of Duty actually running an online poll saying, hey, what would you think if we brought back Verdansk in Warzone? Would you consider this good or bad? And presumably a lot of players said, hey, yes, bring back Verdansk. And what do you know? In spring 2025, Verdansk is returning. So the actual official run Call of Duty polls, whether they're in-game or out of game, seem to actually be taken into consideration quite a bit in the fact that we're now seeing more server updates and more server mentions and stability updates than we've seen in patch notes in a long time, right alongside the same time that we're starting to see polls based on connection quality. Leads me to believe that we are actually finally coming to a point where Call of Duty is going to have to address its servers, which, as I alluded to earlier, is long overdue because they impact absolutely everything. It doesn't matter if you have the most fun gameplay ever. It's super fun to get into. It keeps players online. The gunplay is super smooth. The movement is super fluid and smooth and easy. Even if there was like no crazy skill-based matchmaking, you were just playing and having a blast. If the connection quality then impacts any of that, all of the quality of the gunplay, the gunfights, the fun is diminished because you're lagging. You can't actually experience the content. You're disconnecting out of the matches. You can't actually experience the gameplay. Every element of Call of Duty that could be considered good or bad is basically overshadowed by servers. Servers are the top of the umbrella and everything else is just standing underneath it, and it impacts everything. So good servers are a must-have as a ground level, ground zero basis for everything else to be considered in a real way, in a solid way, without this negatively impacting your thoughts on it. So if they do finally end up upgrading the servers, that is a huge W, and I cannot wait for the day I can actually make a video, Call of Duty, huge server update patch notes, or Call of Duty finally fixed the servers, something like that, because it's been long overdue, it's been much anticipated, and hopefully all this stuff, all these signs as of late are indicating that a big change is coming. Of course, if anything does happen, if anything is announced or revealed, this is the place to guarantee you are up to date with all of it. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and if you enjoyed this video, you want to see improvements made to the COD servers, let me know by dropping a like on it. It's always really appreciated. Well, once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.